Why are so many people miserable?
I had no idea so many people were miserable.
They are.
We'll discuss it on the next Ray and Sid. Welcome one and all. How are ya?
I'm rockin'.
Welcome to Dare to Be Better.
With Ray and Sid.
I'm Ray Powers.
And I'm Sydney Hall.
And we are here to obviously make your life better. Or at least give you a little bit of
we'll give you food for thought.
Food for thought. I like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you can decide if we're making your life better or more miserable.
It's a little perspective. Maybe you watch us and you go, wow, I feel better about myself now because I'm not those two. Although I think we have it pretty good.
Yeah, we do.
But so does the fish in the bowl who's just swimming around in, in a little bit of water. And he gets his food, he gets his flakes.
Yeah, you only know what you know.
It's relative, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we decided to stay in Las Vegas for a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. We haven't worn out our welcome yet, or they haven't caught us. I think it's the latter.
Yeah,
How you
I
doing?
would agree.
You liking the visit?
Yeah. I'm all about the food. That's what's on my mind right now.
One Caesar said tacos, man. That was it.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I know.
When in Rome, right?
Mm-hmm. And I get very excited about the breaks. So then I start to kind of wander.
Yeah, after 22 minutes,
my thoughts start to wander.
Yeah. I can hear the stomach rumbling.
Can you? No, really?
No, I can't.
Oh.
I edited all that out.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Okay. You look cute today, Ray.
I do. Well, thank you. I've been working really tough, really hard.
You have been?
Yeah, you always look good.
Thank you, Ray. I'm trying.
Yeah, I've been absolutely... Ever since we spoke back in, it's got to be November, you said something, and our buddy said something, and I don't know what it was, but it just motivated me to do something a little bit different, and I saw results in the last couple of months.
Really?
Yeah. Feel better, a little stronger, yeah.
Really?
It was a conversation we had, obviously, off air, but...
Yeah, I know which one.
Yeah, you know. Uh-huh. So, it's been working out well.
Really?
Everybody at home is saying, you're such a jerk. Because I'm not sharing the info, that's why. No, it was just a friend of ours who made a comment, and it was a compliment.
Yeah.
But the way it was delivered, I didn't take it as such a compliment, and I wanted...
You wanted to do more for yourself.
He said I looked a little slender. And I took it as I was a little scrawny.
Why are people not saying that to me? Do you know what people are saying to me?
What is people saying to you?
I want to hear the word, Sid, you're looking a little slender. Instead, they're saying, yeah, you carry your curves well, or you're a thick girl. No woman wants to hear you're a thick girl.
They do now. These days.
That is not a compliment. I want to hear that.
You're slender.
Hey, Sid, you're looking a little slender.
See, but we talked about this at breakfast.
And you're getting my compliments, and I'm getting yours.
They're mixing us up. Obviously, you can mistake one from the other. I look like an Asian girl, and you obviously look like a big, bald, whatever
Italian man.
Apparently. Well, man might be a stretch.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
But you look fantastic. You don't look thick.
Why are people saying that word to me?
Here's why. Because it's become a cultural thing with the kids. I sound like such a grandpa. THICC. That kind of thick.
Oh, earlier when you spelled that for me, you're telling me the truth?
Yeah.
You're messing with me.
No, I'm just feeding you lines of BS.
Well, you could.
I don't. I certainly could, yeah.
Because I believe everything you tell me, sadly enough.
Well, that's why I try to keep it, pure and kosher, because I don't want to lead you on.
Well, I know, because I believe everything. I didn't know THICC.
And you don't detect a lot of my sarcasm. You do take that at face value. So I try to keep it on the table.
Okay, well, anyway.
Yeah, THICC is a compliment. It doesn't mean thick like, thick as a brick. It just means you're curvaceous and the narrow waist, the big bosom and the Show is over. Good night.
Oh my gosh, I'm sweating.
I made Sid sweat.
Okay, anyway.
It's caliente in here, baby.
Anyway.
Sid's going to bring us back. Look at this. Sid's the new producer.
THICC. Maybe that's just what they need to say. THICC instead of thick.
Someone's going to come out with a dance with
THICC?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's out there. Some DJ's pumping it right now.
Unbelievable. You carry your curves well, Sydney. I want to hear.
How does that make you feel? Miserable? Because that's the theme of the day.
Oh, it is. Yes. Ray, you're such a producer.
You like that?
So well done. That was excellent.
Thank you. Been working on that too.
Tell me what because it's an email, but could you remind me?
The email was from back east. Didn't come from my mailbox, but I think it was Connecticut, and there was no name on it. It was like, it was like Porter 566. It could have been anything. But it was, why are people miserable?
Well, one of them is being called thick. Okay, now we can move on from that.
You're not thick. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
Sid was a professional dancer, a choreographer, a gymnast, a soccer player, and you're going to have those muscles the rest of your life.
Okay, thank you. So. But nothing's wrong with this, but I don't dance on a pole.
No, that kind of dancing, no.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm a half a pole, but that's a different kind of pole.
I don't even know what that means.
Do I want to go down this rabbit hole?
Oh no, I'm getting really dizzy. I think I don't have enough oxygen. I don't know, but you don't need to tell me. There's a lot of things I don't need to know.
Polish people are referred to as Poles.
Oh, that's lucky. I'm thinking about the other
Oh, you want to take this X-rated, huh? That's where you want to go with this show.
Oh my gosh.
You want to get the warning label on this one. Clearly. Right.
Well, I don't know.
Explicit content.
Well, they can think of whatever poll they want to think about. They don't know what poll I'm thinking about. Clearly.
Now they do. Thank you. Dragging this into the gutter again. Now I'm miserable.
Okay. Could you just keep going and lead us into this topic?
Well, it was a very deep and existential and very broad question of why are people miserable? Now, I don't think people in general go through life completely miserable. I certainly don't.
But I think you're rare.
Well, possibly, but don't you think people every day... All right, maybe let's tackle this. Do you think average Joe is happy?
No.
Is he happy any part of the day?
Again, we talked about the difference between joy and happiness. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a difference. And then there's a difference between existing. Most people are just existing.
Right. Are they happy existing?
I'm going to give my 2 cents. Weird. No. Majority of people are not happy individuals. Majority of people are not inspired. They're not passionate about their life. Majority of people, I think, they may not be completely miserable, but they are not, I would not call them happy.
Okay, so they're somewhere in between ecstatic and miserable. I mean, some people do go through life miserable, and I think a lot of it is, self-inflicted. Mm-hmm. A lot of it maybe isn't their fault. People have unfortunate instances happen in their life that, scar them for life and for years. Mm-hmm. Some don't get the help they need. I mean, it could be anything from you have a lousy job. We talked about that last week and you don't want to rise above that. Maybe you're morbidly obese. Maybe you're having a really, really, tough time getting past a traumatic experience. Mm.
I think that miserable stems from the things that people choose to think about, believe in, and ponder on. And if your thought process is based around what you're not getting, what you can't have, what's not working, and the things that have frustrated you, all of those things, none of those add up to happiness.
So you're saying holding on to those things keeps you miserable? Okay, well, for sure. I mean...
Because every dot has to connect, right? So, again, you give what you own, and if your dots are not connecting, you can't have one dot over here that's just complete, filled with joy, and this dot, we're trying to get to this dot, but all of my thoughts are about what I can't have and who's been aggravating to me and who's unfair and who's abused me, all those things. And I do think, I was actually thinking about this earlier today as I was in the elevator again, because I love to listen to people. And you watch how people walk, the way they stand, the conversations they have, all of these things. You can tell a lot about a person. You don't need to know them by watching those things. And I am going to tell you, here in Las Vegas, and it's not just here in Las Vegas, but people in general, I just think as a whole, are not very happy, grounded, balanced people. And I think it's due to lack of finding things that inspire them, lack of living something that is passionate for them. And I think it's lack of the ability or choice to control the thoughts they have.
I think a lot of people are complacent for sure. And, you know, maybe they have spells of misery for sure. And maybe it outweighs the happiness. And, you know, so it's not a happy medium. It's not a perfect average of half the times I'm happy and half the times I'm miserable. Complacency is a weird kind of thing, you know, because you could be happy and complacent, and you could certainly be complacent in a way where it keeps you on the side of misery, if that makes sense.
Happy and complacent. Okay, I'm not questioning you. I'm pondering this.
Right.
Because if you think of the words, happy is inspired.
Right.
Complacent is not inspired.
Right.
So what my point is that everything that we have, everything that we are, when you feel someone walk through the door and you don't even know them, you don't know them from your, you know, whoever in the world, you typically can tell if someone is happy. You can feel it on them. So what I'm saying is that if you're going to be a happy person, if happiness is what you want, the choice of all of these dots, all of these things out here have to equal this destination. So if I want to be happy, then the choice to find things that inspire me, the choice to find things that I have gratitude for, and the choice to find the things I have passion for and live in that realm leads me to happiness. But I can't choose happiness and then choose, well, now I'm going to think about everything that makes me angry, upset, what I don't have. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not going to lead me to happiness. That's going to lead me to depression.
Now, do you think it's relative as far as I could look at somebody's life and go, wow, that must be a miserable life. But maybe they really are not even complacent, but they're happy with what they're doing. Maybe they're making less money than a lot of people. You can have wealthy people that are miserable.
Oh, absolutely. And people who don't make much money who are very, very happy.
And have a good life.
Yeah, because the money's not really...
that was just an example
of
money, yeah.
So say it again to me then.
Is it relative? Like, I can look at you and go, God, Sid, you must be miserable because...
You have to be on air, you two.
Exactly.
Together.
You got to look across the table and look at this all the time. No, but I can look at like Joe and like, you know, wherever, USA, and well, you pump gas for a living, and you...
I see what you're saying.
You know, and I have no right to say you must be miserable. That could be one of 3 jobs he works. He could be making extra money for his kids to go to college or something like that. You know, and maybe he's helping a friend out. You know, we don't know their story.
Right.
But if you're saying inwardly, You know, you're looking in the mirror. Are you being honest with yourself? Are you miserable?
Okay, so there is a gentleman there in Salt Lake, and he has been working...
Should we name him Billy?
Joel.
Joel. Okay, I like Joel. Billy Joel? I like... Oh, nice.
Do you see how quick I am now that I've met you?
Look at this.
Okay,
I'm not the only one getting all buff. You're mentally there. Look at you.
Oh yeah, that's me. Mentally buff.
Mentally buff.
Okay, so Billy
I have
Joel.
a long way to go back to buff, but that's okay.
We'll call Joel. So Joel, he works at an ice cream shop, and this is no joke. He has been working at this ice cream shop since high school, and he is now my age. You walk in, and this guy, in the same location, I might add, since high school.
So he's been there 5 years.
5 years. Okay, so...
See, she's not the only quick one.
So, and this was, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. I walk into this establishment, and he is the one helping me. And after I was done having the ice cream and eating, I said to him, I have to tell you, you're one of the greatest people I've met in the service industry, because clearly you know your ice cream, you love serving it, you love meeting the people. You know, I went on and on and on.
Right.
Well, after we were done, my sister and I are out in the parking lot, and she's the one that says to me, do you know, this guy he actually went to school with me, and he has been serving in the same location, serving the same ice cream since high school. And he said, while I was in there saying that I just think he's amazing, he goes, I love what I do. Right. And it's a perfect example. It's not about the money. It's not about him going to a better ice cream shop. It's all about he just simply loves what he does, and I can tell he's happy. He's joyfully happy.
So maybe he's managing at this point, you know, maybe he's climbed the ladder a little bit as far as you could possibly go. I managed a Carvel when I was a kid. And
a what?
A Carvel. It's an ice cream chain back east.
Okay.
By now I thought it might be national, maybe not. But this is back in the 80s.
Okay.
Tom Carvel.
Okay.
He had patented the soft serve with the star shape or whatever. It had that certain contour to it. You've seen it. But yeah, it was actually New York based, and then they went semi-national, I guess. But it was, you know, an ice cream shop that had hard ice cream, soft serve, and they made ice cream cakes. And it was my favorite job for a long, long time. You know, it was a relatively clean job. It was very busy in the summertime. Girls would come in their bathing suits. There was really no downside to a young man
I was just
working
going
at
to
this
say,
place.
that seems pretty like a great place to be for you.
The phone numbers that I collected on that job. Let me tell you, I did okay.
Oh, I'm sure, Ray.
A couple of ice cream cones out the window. This is on you. This is on me, sweetie.
Yeah. I'm sure you did well, Ray.
It didn't suck.
No.
It was good. But, you know, I don't know if I'd want to be working there doing the same job I did when I was 17. Right. Now, I'll tell you something. Back in 2006, I had the opportunity to buy that business. It wasn't a Carvel anymore.
Really?
It was somebody...
And you didn't do it?
No,
or
because
did you?
No, because I was on the road that year, 330 days a year. Well, on the road and studio work, and I was unavailable that much. I didn't want to be an absentee owner.
Right.
That's a job I'd want to be at
hands-on.
every day. Yeah. And not micromanaging the kids, but at least be present.
Right.
You know? It's really hard to run a business like that when you're just detached.
Yeah.
And I had the money because I was never home.
Right.
I had no life, but I did have the money to put up the capital. I could have paid cash for it.
Right.
But I wouldn't be able to give it the attention that it needed. And then I'd be miserable because my employees would be miserable.
Yeah. But I also think, okay, you and I were having this discussion the other day.
You're talking about ice cream now. I want ice cream and tacos.
I know my stomach is growing. All right, what? Growing. It's roaring and growl. It doesn't matter what it's doing.
You're hungry. We'll get through this in 30.
What I'm saying to you is that you and I were having a discussion about a person who does a certain thing, okay? And I personally don't think he's very good at the second thing that he has a love for. He does another thing that he's exceptional at. Exceptional. Right. And the second thing that he does that I don't feel he's very good at, you had said, well, it seems to be his passion.
Right.
Right? And I made mention, I do feel this way. If you're going to ask money for your passion, then I do feel like you owe it not just to yourself, but those who you are wanting money from, that you go learn, become a master at your passion. You know, really know what you're doing. Don't just have a passion and go out and think that people should spend money on your passion when you're not very good at it. But your point that you were making to me is that this guy is doing this passion. It's what makes him happy, right? And I think that's a lot of what brings in the misery for many people, is that they're not doing something. Find something that you have a passion for, right?
Like people on Etsy, you see this all the time. Homemade products. And maybe they're a little, imperfect or whatever.
And who cares, right?
They're homemade, right?
Yeah, and they're living their passion. Because their passion, maybe for other people, their passion is making millions.
Right.
But for majority of people, sure, we all would like millions. But most of us aren't doing something just because we're doing it to make millions.
Right.
So I just think that's an important thing about quote unquote being miserable is, again, all your dots have to add up. So you have to look at your life and see what things are you holding in the palm of your hands? Are all of these dots negative? All the things you don't want, what you can't have, blah, 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 blah. Well, then that's not connecting to happiness and joy. So maybe you need to clean your hands and fill your hands up with different dots, which are the things that bring you passion. You're going to be a happier person.
Right. Now, how does somebody, in your opinion, get out of that pattern of misery?
Point of view. Remember when we had that discussion? We had a podcast on that. And I'm a firm believer that lack of gratitude, you're going to be miserable all the time if you lack gratitude. Second of all, point of view. If you choose to have a point of view. So I do want to clarify. So whatever point of view you have, if it's uplifting you, you're going down the right road. If the point of view you have makes you miserable and frustrated, stop moving. Don't make any more decisions until you feel inspired. Once you feel inspired, move again.
So going back to the first point of gratitude, if you only have a certain amount of food or possessions or, income, you have to first be grateful that you have that, because there are people out there that have less than you.
Yes.
You have to recognize that. It's really hard when you don't have enough.
Right.
And you feel, and you don't have enough. But, hey, there are people in Calcutta that are literally starving to death.
Right.
We're not, for the most part. We can go and get food if we need it. It might be swallowing our pride a little bit to have to go,
to the shelter or to the food bank.
But there are means, for the most part, here in America, we're very lucky.
Yes, very fortunate.
Even the poorest people in America
aren't as poor as, for example, my birth mom.
Sure.
Who was in a cardboard box on the side of the road in the middle of the Philippines, So there's different, of course, everything's relevant.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Do you have any idea? You probably don't. Did you ever get any sort of feeling from the cab driver or from your dad of your mom's overall outlook? Could you be happy at a cardboard box? Is that even remotely possible?
Could I be happy?
No, your mom. Was she at any point happy in her life, do you think?
Well, that's interesting, Ray, that you bring that up, because I was just thinking this morning that, I really don't care who my birth father is. However, I think that my birth parents, had to have this thing about them where they were probably optimistic. At least one of them. One of them had to be overly optimistic. And I'm going to guess it was my birth mom.
Sure.
Because I, by nature, am happy. By nature, I'm able to always find the good, almost to a fault, right? The good. I'm able to, within 16 seconds, because they do say if you take on a negative thought for longer than 16 seconds, that's when you tumble down that, it's very hard to overcome. So within 16 seconds, if you can alter your point of view or your thoughts, that you have a tendency to be a happier person. And I can do those things. I've practiced them, but I can do them easily. And I think that's a genetic thing. I feel like it's a genetic thing,
So you think because your parents gave you that DNA that they must have been wired that way.
Especially my mom being in that cardboard box. I feel this. I don't know this. But her being in this cardboard box in complete poverty on the side of the road, I feel like, and I don't know if she's still there. I don't know. But I feel
wondered
like...
that myself. I was wondering if she was still around or how old she was when she had you. And
she would be about the same age as my mom, as
Really?
Linda Hall,
Okay.
in her upper 70s.
Really?
So she could still be around. But I feel like she had to be very resilient.
Obviously,
right?
yeah.
And if you go look at I have pictures up of where I came from, that cardboard box, and many of those children in those pictures, they're smiling and they're licking that can.
You did say that in the very
Right?
first episode that we ever shot.
I think the people in the Philippines as a whole are resilient and they're happy. And there are people looking, these kids are swimming in their own waste, looking for their food, but they still have a smile on their face.
And yet you have trust fund babies here in America, billionaires, hedge fund people who are miserable, who are blowing their brains out.
Right.
Because they obviously aren't happy. The money didn't make them happy because when you got there, you weren't happy.
Right.
So if a kid with a tuna can going, look, I found enough here to get a fingerful,
Right.
can be happy.
Right.
Anybody can be happy.
Yeah, and I was looking at these pictures before we came out here, and these children, because I do have them taped up in my bathroom because I must remember where I came from.
Of course.
But you look at their face and they are joyfully happy. They're not putting on an act. You look at them and you see it in their eye. They're happy. They're joyful. And I always want to remember that happiness and joyfulness and all these things, they come from gratitude. Looking at the things you have and finding that grace.
I think of the kids in Central Africa who wind up getting the T-shirts from the Super Bowl. They have to print up two sets, the winning team and the losing
Right.
team. Both teams say Super Bowl champions.
Right.
The Steelers and the Cowboys. One team has to win, one team has to lose.
Right.
And when one team wins, now one set of T-shirts is wrong. Because
Right.
Team B did not win.
Right.
Instead of destroying those shirts like they used to do,
Okay.
now they ship them off to third world countries because they're brand new shirts with
Really?
tags on them.
I didn't know that.
Beautiful shirts, yeah, $30 in the sneaker store.
Wow.
And why would you destroy those when there are kids across the globe who don't know what baseball or football is or care? And so it says, Cleveland Browns 2021 Super Bowl champions. Who cares?
Yeah.
They're brand new shirts. The kids get them and they're clean shirts. I love this. Are you kidding? So,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Any kind of waste, as you know, drives me crazy.
Yeah, me too.
That doesn't make me miserable. It makes me want to kill.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I will name though. No, it really does do my heart good to know that those are being, put to use.
Absolutely.
The same with food. Do not waste food.
Oh, that's a big thing for me too.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that. That's a whole different show.
Different show.
We're just
And we're almost done.
We're just about wrapping up here, yeah. But so basically, if a kid in the Philippines who has to swim in questionable waters to pick up a little bit of food can be happy, certainly you
Joyfully happy.
certainly you and I,
Yeah.
who live a pretty good life
We live like kings and
on our
queens
worst
compared to
day.
them.
Exactly. We can avoid misery, I think.
Yeah.
So people don't have to be miserable.
No, I think misery is a choice. Just as happiness is a choice.
I have to concur.
Oh my gosh, we're ending
We
on a
agreed on
high
something.
note.
Oh my God. So it really is a new year. Well, I forgot to mention last week, but a lot of you are picking up on it. If you have an opinion, like Sydney does, email us, rayandsidshow@gmail.com. If you have critiques, I'm supposed to eat those. If you have praise, Sydney gets the halo. I'll be miserable and she'll be happy.
Oh, shooties, but he could choose to be happy.
I have to eat the misery and then I have to turn it into rainbows. Not a problem. Guys and girls, thank you so much. Keep the email coming. We love it. We love it here in Vegas. And before I go home, I want to remind you, dare to be better.
With Ray and Sid.
Hey, thanks for checking us out. If you enjoyed the show, like the video, subscribe to this channel, and please tell your friends. We'd also love it if you headed over to daretobebettershow.com for tons of cool photos, extras, and a chance to shop for some sweet show swag. Say that 5 times fast. I could barely say it once. If you keep coming, we'll keep delivering. Thanks again.